The girl takes a moment to scrutinize him, questioning whether he's truly the same person who effortlessly incapacitated two individuals earlier. She's puzzled because he's now treating Daeun with utmost kindness. They depart, leaving the girl bewildered. On their way, Daeun inquires if he indeed took down the guys who were threatening them. He confirms it, mentioning the rudeness of staring at people, as it might provoke anger. Ijin acknowledges this but explains that he intervened because he believed they were causing trouble for Daeun. Daeun flares up at this thought, her face turning red. Meanwhile, his grandpa pleads with him not to do the dishes and instead sit down to eat some fruit. Ijin declines, insisting on doing the dishes while seated. As he washes the dishes, his grandpa expresses hope that the food met his liking, emphasizing that he prepared it to the best of his abilities. Ijin appreciates his cooking, assuring him that the food is always delicious. His grandpa visibly appreciates the compliment and asks about his first day of school, inquiring if there were any issues. Ijin looks back at Daeun and reports that everything went smoothly. They exchange goodnight wishes and head to bed. While sitting on his bed, Ijin reflects on the events leading up to this point, particularly his grandpa's warm welcome and the abundant food he provided. As he drifts off to sleep, he dreams about the day of the plane crash, witnessing glimpses of his parents protecting him during the terrifying descent. He abruptly wakes up, relieved that it was just a dream. Upon leaving his room, he finds Daeun preparing breakfast. Ijin notices his grandfather's absence, with Daeun mentioning that he's gone to work. Ijin is slightly surprised by this, and Daeun hurries to the door, explaining that she needs to leave early. Ijin observes the leftover food on the table, remnants from the previous night. The scene shifts to the girl who had witnessed the earlier fight. She explains to another girl, Ijin, who is bullying Daeun, that the person who incapacitated her friends was Daeun's brother. After Ijin and Daeun depart, Ijin encounters the group of bullies and demands to know what happened to them. She wonders if they'll be okay if they continue bullying Daeun, recalling Ijin's intervention and the intimidating glare he gave her. She reassures herself, believing that Ijin's brother is a powerful figure among the third-year students. The scene transitions to Daeun suddenly being slapped across the head, with Ijin demanding that Daeun follow her. Daeun complies, and the scene shifts to outside the school where Daeun is being assaulted by Ijin. Ijin warns her about her brother's difficult life and implies that her brother is heading to confront Ijin right now, perhaps having already met him. Daeun screams in protest but is slapped again. Annoyed by her screaming, Ijin gets up, and Daeun runs to Ijin's classroom. Inside, Ijin's brother and his accomplices are already present. Daeun makes it in time to scream for her brother, and Ijin sees her face marked with redness from the slap and her clothes muddied. His eyes turn menacing, and Ijin's brother mocks Daeun, asking if she's worried about him. Ijin, emerging from the doorway, suggests that even she would be concerned if her brother were about to be beaten up, judging by Ijin's demeanor, indicating that things won't end well for them. In the moments leading up to this incident, Lee and Ju Hyukshin are seen bullying Youngchan, tossing erasers at him, attempting to hit his head. Ju intimidates a classmate to hand over his eraser, which is quite large, and he hurls it at Youngchan, making him uncomfortable. Lee picks up an even larger, harder eraser and hurls it with great force. However, Ijin steps in front of the victim, using his backpack as a shield to block the projectile. They become annoyed by his interference, and after Ijin takes his seat, they plan to confront him after school to put an end to his interference. Ijin notices the bullies laughing and looking at him. Youngchan inquires if Ijin has any plans after school and offers to show him around. Ijin declines, explaining that he needs to go home with his sister. Youngchan expresses interest, asking if they transferred together. Ijin reveals that Daeun is already attending school when Youngchan inquires about her name. However, upon hearing the name, Daeun, Youngchan's expression immediately shifts to one of concern and sadness. He tells Ijin that his sister's school life has been arduous due to her popularity with boys since middle school. The trouble began when a girl developed a crush on one of the boys, leading to relentless bullying directed at Daeun. Ijin is taken aback by the revelation, finding it difficult to comprehend why people would subject Daeun to such mistreatment for such a frivolous reason. Youngchan explains that the situation worsened because the girl who bullied Daeun happened to be in the same class as her when they entered school. It became so severe that people were astonished that Daeun continued to attend. Ijin attempts to wrap his head around the situation, unable to fathom the senselessness of the bullying. Youngchan remarks that, when you uncover the truth, there's nothing extraordinary about it. People like them don't need a significant reason to engage in such behavior. Ijin recalls his conversation with his grandfather, who had asked Daeun about her school life, and he remembers the sadness in her eyes as she falsely claimed everything was fine. Grateful for the information. Back to the present. Ijin is interrupted as a large individual, the same one he had confronted at the store, forcefully slams open the classroom door, accompanied by a group of others. Ju inquires about their presence, but it's Kim Kisu who responds, stating that he has something he wants. The group is surprised by Kim's unexpected appearance. Kim's companions point toward Ijin, ridiculing them for losing to someone they consider frail. Kim beckons Ijin to stand up, and Ijin complies. Ijin questions if he is Kim, which astonishes Kim that his name is already known. An intense glare from Ijin annoys Kim, leading him to order one of his companions to bring Ijin over. As the companion approaches Ijin, Daeun rushes into the room, visibly battered and dirtied. Ijin's expression turns cold as he observes her condition. Kim expresses jealousy over Ijin's caring sister, and Heejin, Kim's sister, responds, saying she would also be worried if her brother were about to be attacked. Overwhelmed by the number of individuals targeting Ijin, Daeun breaks into tears, apologizing to him. Ijin reassures her, stating that none of this is her fault. When another companion attempts to punch Ijin, he redirects the attack, striking the assailant's exposed windpipe, causing him to kneel in distress. One of the remaining goons panics and attempts to strike Ijin, but his vulnerability becomes his downfall as Ijin lands a kidney shot, toppling him. The shocking turn of events leaves everyone in disbelief, even Kim. Ijin glares at the brother and sister, who are visibly shaken. Kim acknowledges that Ijin possesses some impressive skills, but Ijin pays him no attention. Kim tries to deliver a kick to Ijin's neck, initially thinking he succeeded. However, his confidence shatters as he realizes Ijin flawlessly blocked the attack. Panic sets in, and Kim launches another assault from a different angle, but Ijin effortlessly parries it. Ijin seizes Kim's leg and delivers a powerful punch to his face, sending him crashing to the ground. Ijin fixes him with a menacing stare and, with one final strike, renders Kim unconscious. The astonishing defeat of Kim, including Lee and Ju, leaves everyone stunned. He approaches Heejin with clenched fists, and she braces herself for an impending strike. However, it's Daeun who intervenes, urging him to cease his actions, stating that it's enough. Ijin questions this decision, pointing out that these are the same individuals who tormented her. Daeun insists that it's all right now, and he should stop. Ijin acquiesces and offers to escort her back to class. Inside the classroom, Kim's sister seethes at the sight of her brother and his friends battered and bruised. While walking, Daeun remarks on Ijin's fighting skills and apologizes once more, feeling responsible for him getting into fights 2 days in a row. Ijin reassures her, expressing his willingness to fight on her behalf. He explains that where he used to live, people typically only looked out for themselves, except when it came to family. This prompts a flashback of Ijin as a mercenary, pondering the concept of family while witnessing a man defending his daughter from attacks. Daeun questions how this could be, considering that he barely remembers her and their grandpa. Ijin acknowledges her point but asserts that he knows they are family deep down. Daeun becomes embarrassed by his words and informs Ijin that she'll finish the rest of the journey alone. Ijin inquires why, but they are already in front of her classroom. She bids him farewell, and Ijin smiles at her shyness. Upon returning to his own classroom, Lee and Ju offer their congratulations on his victory, with Ju playfully suggesting that it seemed like he was effortlessly dominating. Ijin takes his seat, and Youngchan shyly admits that he thinks Ijin looks cool too. In another location, Kim and his cronies lament their defeat, with Kim acknowledging that Ijin is in a completely different league. His sister continues to berate him, wondering how they could lose to a single individual. Kim, fed up with her nagging, commands her to be silent, but she refuses to back down. Finally, with one final menacing glare from Kim, she becomes so infuriated that a tear forms in her eye, and she storms off, slamming the door behind her. Back in her classroom, she sarcastically remarks to Daeun that her life will be smooth sailing from now on, as she can rely on her brother for anything. Daeun ignores Heejin's taunts, further fueling her anger. Heejin ponders if she has no choice but to silently observe Daeun from now on, asserting that she won't stand for it. While walking toward the school gate, Daeun contemplates her brother, who had protected her, but she also reflects on the bullying she has endured until now, questioning if it's genuinely over. Lost in thought, she passes by Ijin without noticing him, prompting him to inquire if something is on her mind. She apologizes for not noticing him, but he brushes it off. Daeun suggests that they make a quick stop at the store to pick up some items, as their grandpa prefers to have dinner prepared when he returns home. Curious about what comes next? Click on this video to continue. And don't forget to like and subscribe.